14 years old, until I found an amazing industry, an industry that doesn't discriminate, an industry that will take on anybody and will pay you according to how hard you work and what you do, but also an industry that didn't care about your previous knowledge or background, and it would teach you and grow you and bring you in like a family member and give you incredible community. So this was my introduction into the direct selling industry. And with my dad's help, because obviously I was only 14, so I needed to get him to help me sign up my first business. But I started my first business and I grew it purely through relationship building, through going up to people and talking to them, through getting to know what problems in life they wanted to solve and adapting what I was doing to help them solve those problems. And by the time I was 16 years old, through this process, which I was trained and nurtured into, I had a business that had an income that far outweighed that of my dad's. I was able to afford to do lots of luxuries that most 16-year-olds couldn't have. And I was one of the top 10 consultants in Australia in the company that I was with. Now, by the time I turned 18, my dad sits me down and says, Sam, it is time, you have to go out and get yourself what he considered to be a real job. Now, I was really sad by that because I thought this industry was it for me and where I was going to stay forever. Now, while I was sad at the time, I'm so glad now because I then found my way into a career that's helped me be back here serving this industry that changed my life every single day. After several various different roles, which I often talk about because, again, they really solidified the experience I get to bring to the table every day here, I ended up working for a company for 11 years. It was one of the biggest print marketing companies in Australia at the time. And over time, I became one of their top trainers and managers in the company. And it was my job to teach others in the company these skills that I had learned through this incredible industry. But something happened over time. If you're wondering where I am, that's me. That was my first day on the job in this company that ended up helping me shape a career. But the thing was that over the course of my time in this company, as a marketing and salesperson, one of the things that significantly changed about 10 years in was the digital landscape. We went from everything being print and broadcasting, which was the old school way of communicating with people that we all know, to everything being from one-to-one to one-to-many, where it wasn't broadcasting anymore. Social media came into play. And I started to develop a little bit of a complex because you see, the problem I had was I knew how to communicate to one individual, but I didn't understand how to use this technology that I didn't grow up with. For a lot of you, you felt really overwhelmed by that as well. And honestly, I had a bit of a reputation when it came to technology. It did not come naturally to me. And so at one point, I found myself getting really caught out by what I like to call my inner bully. Anyone got an inner bully? Well, mine would say things to me like this: you're not smart enough. No one wants to listen to you. You're not tech savvy. You will never be successful. And I started to shrink back. I went from being the top performing person in a company of almost 300 people to being somebody who was too afraid to try. And I realized something, that number one, I could step into all I was meant to be and I could grab the bull by the horns and learn everything I needed to know. Or I could let somebody else step up to the plate and take what I want to be mine. And I also realized something else, and it was this. What I've just mentioned to you, I had begun walking dust into my opportunities. I'd begun taking past experience, which was that I didn't grow up with technology. I didn't understand this new social media digital landscape. But it didn't mean that that needed to be my journey going forward. And I was taking the past into this new experience, and I see people doing this every single day. And so I realized I need to wipe the dust off my shoes. I need to start to step into my new opportunities with a clean slate, with clean shoes, and embrace those opportunities for what they were. So I started my new business, and my new business was a business where I would learn and teach as quickly as I gained the information, because I also could see other people were struggling in the same space. I also have got a gorgeous family of amazing human beings. I've also now got another 10-month-old baby, so we've gone back to the drawing board with the kids. And I wanted to be able to show them that we are absolutely capable of doing anything that we put our mind to, including becoming social media technical experts. The great news is you don't have to, because I did a lot of that hard work for you. And so I want to ask you guys, what dust are you currently walking around right now in your business? Here's the great news. Now, this is what I did. Again, this is not what you need to do, thank goodness. But I decided to completely immerse myself. Your network is your net worth. The people we surround ourselves with are the people who literally formulate who we become. And so in my first 12 months in my new business, I spent over $50,000 and traveled the world learning from the world's best in their space so that I could come back and teach this information to you guys. And here's the awesome news. What I was able to do off the back of all of this was come up with some really simple ways that you could implement social media strategies that get results really quickly and really easily. Now, we've been doing this now for over 10 years. And this is actually a post that we taught our membership only a few weeks ago. We taught them this in 2 minutes. I created this post in a couple of minutes. I gave them all the templates. I showed them exactly what to do. And you can see here that from what I did, we got massive reach, massive interactions. But most importantly, this is the thing. We managed to get from this one post that took us 2 minutes to make, took no technical skill, we managed to get over 180 qualified leads for our business in less than 24 hours. Now, we showed our membership how to do this, and we got them to go out and implement it straight away, and they did the same thing. And within 24 hours, we had hundreds of people sending us testimonials telling us how this worked for them and how many leads they generated overnight. And we were blown away by the results. So what I'm going to be showing you today is not only what's working right now, but I'm also going to give you guys an opportunity as well to learn some of these strategies with us completely for free as a VIP experience just for being with New Skin, so we can help you implement some of these very same strategies to get results. Because here's the thing, no matter what your skill level is, you can build a highly converting audience that like, knows and trusts you and that you love to serve. And that's the key. Because for a lot of you right now, you might be working with people in your business that you don't necessarily want to be working with. Maybe you're attracting a lot of the wrong people, or maybe you're not attracting anybody at all. So I'm going to show you guys how to change that up and how to get results. Does that sound good? Awesome. Now, step number 1 is this. I said to you before that sometimes the first thing we need to do, often the first thing we need to do is change what we're looking for. And so I want to talk to you about changing your perspective because firstly, most people have got an unrealistic expectation of what social media will achieve for them. But also, social media has changed. So I want you to think about this. Just because they aren't interacting doesn't mean they aren't watching. A lot of people say to me that social media is not working for them. Tell me if this has been you before. You're like, social media is not working, Facebook's not working because no one's commenting on my posts. Well, just because they aren't interacting doesn't mean they're not watching. I have got story after story after story of people who have been through training with us who started out saying this and realized that people are consistently watching what you're doing. Now, I want to give you guys a little analogy to explain this in a moment. But just before I do, I want to quickly share with you guys a story. One of the things that we're famous for are social media challenges. We do these frequently, we often do them for companies, and we love doing them because it gets people putting things into action. But we also have learned a lot about people over the years. We would have delivered hundreds of social media challenges in the last 5 years alone. And as we do this, we see a lot of the same people, same personalities coming out. One of the very first challenges we did, I was a little taken aback by one of these personality types. We see at least one of these on every challenge we do now. But this particular lady, I'm going to call her Joanne for the interest of this story. Joanne, on day 1, came to us in the chat like you guys are here right now and said, I'll do what you're telling me to do, but I can already tell you it won't work because I've done everything and nothing works. And I asked her why she thinks it doesn't work. She says, well, I do everything and no one comments. Now, the first thing was I asked her, Joanne, how often are you applying what you know? How often are you posting? And she said, oh, I did it 4 or 5 times and nothing worked, so I stopped. Now, to me, that's a little bit like going to a gym, getting a training getting a plan from a personal trainer, going 3 or 4 times and then saying it didn't work, so I didn't get all my muscle in those first 3 or 4 times, so I'm going to stop going, or I didn't lose my weight. Or deciding to go on a health kick and eating 3 apples in a day and going, well, that didn't work, and stopping. We all know consistency is key here, right? But the thing about Joanne was she had that attitude that she had an expectation that everyone was going to show up directly on the platforms, and it's simply not what happens. We kept reminding her, just because people aren't interacting doesn't mean they're not watching. And Joanne was the complainer of the group. So every day she would show up in the group and she would say, I did what you told me to do today and it didn't work. I told you. And then she'd do this day 1, day 2, day 3. We get to day 7. And sure enough, Joanne shows up in the group. She says, I did your day 7 challenge and nothing worked. I told you this wouldn't work. See, proof is in the pudding. And everyone was starting to get a little bit annoyed, right? We get to day 10. And I'm hoping and praying that today Joanne will see some results, because let's be honest, we all get a little bit sick of the complainer. Well, day 10 comes around and I get an email, not a post in the group this time, an email. And it was an apology email. She said, Sam, I'm so sorry. She said, I can see what you were trying to tell me now. Something very interesting happened today. She said, every day I've been doing what you're telling me to do. I've been showing up. I've been posting consistently. I've been doing exactly what you told me day by day by day. And nothing was happening. Crickets were chirping. But she said, today I went into work. And Joanne worked at hospital. She said, I walked into work and somebody who I work with every single day, but I had never spoken to about the business, came up to me and said, hey, I've been watching you on social media. I love those products. I used to buy them. I haven't bought them for a long time. I would absolutely love to get a few things off you. Can I have a look at a catalog, please? And she said, I was blown away because I did not know this person was watching what I was doing. But she said, then the weirdest thing happened. Later on in the day, someone from a totally different department of the hospital that I ran into, who I am barely friends with, came up to me and said, hey, I've been watching you on social media and I've actually been thinking about setting up a bit of a side hustle to earn some extra money. And I've been watching what you're doing. You seem to have a lot of fun. Do you think this might be a good fit for me too? Could you tell me a bit about it? She said, by the end of the day, not only did I have 2 orders, but I also had recruited someone into my team. The only thing I did was consistently showed up on social media just like you told me to do. So this is where I want to share with you guys a little analogy so you can better understand, hopefully, how all this works and why it works. And the best way I can describe it is by giving you a bit of a word picture by sharing what's in my own head, okay? And I talk about the animals in the forest analogy here. Now, I want you to imagine for a moment you're standing in a clearing. Now, I had ChatGPT create this image for me using AI because I couldn't find one that mimicked what I was seeing in my head. So this is what I see here, okay? So you're standing in a clearing, you've got sun shining down on you, and around you is forest, thick forest. Now, being on social media is a little bit like being in the clearing, okay? Imagine for a moment that in that forest are animals. It's highly likely that there would be. But the thing is that because you're in the clearing and there's all these trees surrounding you, you can't see very far into that forest. But what you know is that the animals can see you because you're standing in the clearing. Social media is a lot like this. Just because you can't see them doesn't mean that they can't see you. And every time you show up, they can see you showing up. Now, I want you to just think for a moment realistically about the industry that we're in. It's an incredible industry. It changes lives. It changed my life, and it's probably changed that of many of you in here today. But this industry also has a reputation, maybe because of the behavior of a small few. But you've got to keep in mind that because of that reputation, sometimes people really do need to build that trust and know you're safe before they're willing to step into that clearing with you. So let's just say you want to attract your favorite animal out from those trees. And you want to get them to come into that clearing and maybe even eat some food out of your hands. To get your favorite animal into that clearing and to eat some food maybe out of your hands, you're going to need to do a few things. The first thing is you need to make sure you have the right food in your hands. All right, give me an animal in the chat that you would want to attract into the clearing. right? Throw your favorite animal at me. Give me an animal right now in the chat, just for fun. I said this yesterday. I had someone said a unicorn. I was like, oh, what? Can we be realistic? I don't even know what unicorns eat. All right, give me an animal. Okay, Nikki says giraffe. What else have we got here? Come on, fingers on the keyboards, guys. We've got lion from Leilani. I love it. Rabbit, lion, tiger, T-Rex. Oh my gosh, Joshua. Okay, koala, kangaroos. All right, we're just going to pick one here. Let's go with the tiger, Shanae. A few of you said tiger, so we'll go with that. Let's say you want to attract a tiger out from the trees into the clearing with you, right? The first thing is you are going to have the right food in your hands, which means you want to be posting the right content on social media to attract that tiger out. You're not going to have some grain in your hand or grass. You're going to have a steak, a big, fat, juicy steak, right? That tiger is going to look into that clearing, see that steak and go, I'm interested in what that person has got right there. Here's the next thing. The second thing that you must not do is this. Throw the steak into the trees. Now, what that looks like is, hey, everybody, I've got this amazing product. I want to tell you all about it. Here are all of the features. Here are all of the benefits. Here is all the information you need to know about. Here is the price. And here is the link so you can buy it right now. You don't even need me. I'm going to give you all of the information that you need so you can make a purchase from me right now. Here's my online store. Go ahead, make a purchase. You definitely need this product. That is like throwing the steak into the trees. First of all, it becomes rather unattractive because you've just made it so easy. But you're also telling everyone, broadcasting at them and telling them what they need to do versus having them interested in a little bit more information. The less information you give, the more likely it is they're going to come to you for more. I love this saying, know what they want and then almost give it to them. You want them coming to you and going, can you tell me a little bit more about that? Rather than, here is everything you need to know. Now, the third thing I see people doing in this industry, and hopefully not too many of you are in here right now, but I'm sure some of you might be like, yeah, that's kind of been me in the past, is the person who does this. They see the lion, they've got the attention of the lion now, they've got the right food in their hand, they've been creating curiosity and intrigue, and the lion is starting to stick its nose out from the trees, right? And so they do this. Oh my gosh, I got one. Come here, let me send you a message in Messenger. Let me tell you all about the product. Can I message you again? I'm going to message you. I'm going to send you an email as well. Let me chase you down. And you chase that animal, that lion, into the forest. And the lion runs as fast and as far as it possibly can. And of course, it tells all of its lion friends, do not go into that clearing. It's not safe. And that, unfortunately, is what has, in the past, created a bit of a maybe bad taste in some people's mouth about this industry. So we don't want to do that either. The last thing we absolutely do not, under any circumstances, want to do is probably the most important. And that one is never, ever, ever leave that clearing. Never leave that clearing. Because if you walk away from that clearing, there is now nothing to get the lion's attention at all. It's going to walk away. It's going to go back into the forest because the steak's gone, you're gone, and it's boring now. So stay in the clearing. Have the right food in your hand. Create curiosity and intrigue and attract the animals to you. And this is super simple to do. But remember to have the right perspective. Just because people aren't interacting doesn't mean they're not watching. Think about the last time you looked at a reel on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube Shorts, wherever you were. Now that in itself is probably funny because you probably didn't just look at one, did you? You looked at one and before you knew it, half an hour later, you were down the rabbit hole. But think about the last time you looked at 30 reels, to be more realistic. And you looked at them, but how many of them did you actually comment on or interact with? The interesting thing is that the way that we are interacting has significantly changed. And I decided to test this theory myself several times recently. And I did several experiments where I took a video and I put exactly the same video up on social media as a reel and as a post a second apart on the same platform, same caption, everything the same. And I noticed a dramatic difference between interactions versus views. Reels, because of the nature of what they are, get a lot more views, but a lot less interactions. Posts are getting the opposite. A lot less views, but far more interactions. And you can see this here. The very top one here was the reel. It had 774 plays, but only 8 comments. The post that I put up had 529 plays and 15 comments. And at one point, that was almost exactly half and double, which was very interesting. Keeping in mind that people in 2024 are using social media significantly differently than what they were just 12 months ago. Some of the other things that we're noticing are these. Users are now spending 50% of their time on video. This is actually a decrease in the amount of video that people are consuming, surprisingly. Most videos are viewed without sound. Vertical videos, which is short form videos with audio, are getting the most engagement. And dark shares. Now, this sounds sinister, but I want to explain this one to you. Dark shares are up by over 50% on last quarter. A dark share is when somebody likes something and shares it through Messenger or a private source versus sharing it on their feed. Most people are now sharing privately, and this is not traceable. In other words, your insights are not telling you when someone has shared the post that they saw through a Messenger or any other source. So there's possibly more reach and more interaction that we're getting that we actually can't track and measure. And we're also noticing that 500 million people are now currently using stories every day, keeping in mind that stories get the top real estate on social media. So again, another great opportunity to be in people's feeds. But here's a thought. Sure. Facebook doesn't work anymore in 2024. I hear this a lot, and it's true. It's true if you haven't adapted how you're using the platform. So why isn't Facebook working anymore? Well, if you're doing any of the following things, you will not be getting results. So if you can say yes to any of these, you'll probably find they are exactly why it is not working for you. The first is broadcasting and selling is no longer something that is going to get delivered or people want to see. The next thing is posting links. Now, this is a scary one, but I want to encourage you, this is not all bad. But if you're posting links on business pages or even in groups right now, we know that link reach has reduced by over 97% in the last 18 months. So does that mean you can't post links anymore? No. Watch this space. But it does mean if you're posting them directly with your post, you simply won't be seen by the same number of people, if any people at all. So we have to get clever about how we're doing this. Overposting is also out. We're seeing a lot of people doing this thing where they go, oh, well, no one saw my stuff, so I'll just post more often. Guys, you can put as much stuff on social media as you want, but it's not going to change how many people click on your stuff. It's also like running adverts, which I see a lot of people doing when they're not getting results. And that is they go, hey, you know what? I clearly have to pay the platform if I want to get results. But here's the thing. I can pay Facebook or Instagram to show my post to more people, but I can't pay people to click on my post. So why bother? You're now just paying for the privilege of getting exactly the same result as you were getting before. So also not a good solution or strategy. Another one which I never actually think was in was uninvited connects and reach outs, most definitely out. Please don't do it. It isn't appropriate. It isn't compliant. And if you see anyone else doing it, discourage them too, because unfortunately it creates a bad name in the industry. There are the right ways of doing this. And last but not least, using a personal profile solely for selling product and recruiting is also not okay. Does that mean you can't use a personal profile to grow your business? Absolutely not. Your personal profile is a very powerful place to grow your business. But using the strategies I'm about to share with you, not as an online store, okay? So we've got to keep in mind that the way we use each type of Facebook platform, so whether it's a profile, a group, a business page, whatever it is, we need to think about what is the purpose of that. What do people want to see? Why have they friend requested you, for example? Was it because they wanted the business rammed down their throat or because they care about what you're doing? Your personal profile is a brilliant place for you to build trust, to share your journey and to share your story. I'll tell you a bit more about that shortly. Now, I mentioned links. I want to come back to this because I know a lot of you right now, I can't see if anyone's asking in the chat, but I reckon some of you might be wondering, how do I share links? Can I share links? Because you've all got an online store, right? And you want to grow your business. Well, the first thing is remember that the way people come to you may not necessarily be on social media. Remember the story of Joanne. She was posting on social media, but people came to her personally. So it doesn't always show up where you expect it to. But the other thing is that if you put links in your post, it is statistically guaranteed not to reach as many people because the platform doesn't want to take people away from the platform. So if I post links to YouTube or my online store on Facebook, it's going to naturally hide those posts from most people. They've come out and told us this. They've said it straight out. We just won't show your post to very many people at all, if anybody at all, because we don't want people leaving the platform. So does that mean you can't post links? No. There are several ways you can do this and do it effectively. The first one is you can absolutely put a link in the comments, but here's the best way of doing it. Get that lion or that tiger, I should say, into the clearing. Have them wanting to know more, and then send them a private message that's relevant to them. When they come out and they say, I am really curious about this Lumi Spa, tell me a little bit more about it, and they start to creep into that clearing, you can send a private message to that tiger and say, hey, I know you said that you were interested in knowing more about the Lumi Spa. I actually want to send you some private information just that's relevant to you. Can I ask you a couple of questions about, what you're wanting it to do, how I can best support you, so that number one, they know you're there to serve, and then send the relevant link to that person when it's the right time. So let's focus on, instead of throwing that meat, that steak into the trees, let's make sure that we are getting them coming to us saying, tell us a little bit more about it. Curiosity and intrigue is going to be one of your absolute best friends when it comes to social media strategy. We have got example after example after example of times where we've done this, where we've actually demonstrated to people how to do this live and just seen hundreds, if not in some cases, thousands of people reaching out going, tell me more. It's easy to do. But a lot of people don't do it because they think they have to tell everyone everything they need to know in order to get the results they want to get. And it's just not true. Some of the strategies that we're teaching you guys today, and we're going to, like I said, give you guys a little bit of an opportunity very, very shortly as well as New Skin VIPs to join a brand new training that we're going to be doing. Like I said, completely free opportunity. We've put together something a bit special. We're going to be showing you how to implement some of these strategies here. But here's the thing. We've been doing these with people for literally the last 7-8 years now, since we've been running online programs and training courses. And we know they work. They've worked for other people, and we know they can work for you too. Now, really quickly, what are some of Facebook's performance statistics? Now, I know I said to you before, Facebook doesn't work anymore if you're using it the wrong way. But let me tell you, it is still the lowest hanging fruit to get your results. Facebook now has over 2.1 billion daily users. To put that into perspective, that is a quarter of the world's population is currently using Facebook on a daily basis. That's a lot of opportunity right there. It's also got 3 billion monthly users. So a lot of people that are not necessarily using it every day, but they're still logging into it on a frequent basis. We're seeing lots more people using Messenger and many people using Facebook now as their preferred way to find out the latest news and information about what's going on in the world. So where does that leave you when it comes to opportunity? Now, again, I just want to dispel a little myth for you. Some of you might be thinking, well, you know what? The young people are not on Facebook, and I want the young people in my business. Well, let me tell you a secret. They actually are on Facebook. They might not tell you they are, but they are. Now, I'm not saying that you have to use Facebook. I'm saying use the platform that makes the most sense to you, but don't chase the shiny new object. Where I see a lot of people going wrong is they think, oh, there's this new platform over here or this new tool over here. I need to go chase those things because that's what everyone's telling me I need to do. Don't listen to what everyone's telling you need to do. You need to listen to your audience. Who's your dream customer and where are they showing up? That's where you need to be. We also want you to be using social media as a list building tool, not as the be all and end all. We don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. What you want to be doing is building relationships with people and taking those conversations offline where and when appropriate, but building your own database. Do not put all of your trust in the platforms, okay? So we want to use Facebook as a way to generate leads, Instagram as a way to generate leads, even TikTok as a way to generate leads and have those conversations. I said to you before that one of the biggest lessons I had to learn was the art of taking conversation from one to one to one to many, but only because in this industry, we want to get it back to one to one. That's what makes this industry so powerful. So yes, when we're on social media, we're speaking a little bit more one to many, but there's an art to this because we don't want everyone to feel like a number. We want them to know that they matter because at the end of the day, we want to get back to having the one-to-one conversations. That's how we all know we build a powerful business in this space. So we do this by, number one, using profiles, pages, and groups. A lot of people ask me the question, should I use a personal profile, a business page, or a group to grow my business? And my answer is, do you know what? Well, you don't need to jump into all three straight away. All three have got incredible power, but when used the right way, and each of them work well together. Your business page will be a great way to generate new leads outside of existing connections. Your personal profile is a great way of creating curiosity and sharing your story and further building relationship with existing contacts. And a group is an incredible place to build community and nurture those people you've already connected with. We also want to take conversations offline and consider the 8 to 12 formula. Statistically, it's been proven many, many, many times that people don't buy the first time they come across a business, brand, or a product. They buy on the 8th to the 12th exposure to that business, brand, individual, or product. Keeping in mind, people are not actually buying your product. Does anyone here know? Let's do a little prize. Let's do another prize. Let's do some more chocolate. Who here knows what is the one thing that people are actually buying when they come to you? Are they buying the new skin product? Are they buying the new skin story? Are they buying the new skin culture? Does anybody know what people are actually buying? What's the one thing that makes your business unique that has them come to your business and not go anywhere else? Does anyone know what that is? Prize on the line here, guys. I want to see if anyone can answer. Look, we've got some people who've done training with us before. I love it. It's you. Okay, so the first cab off the rank. Oh, we had two. I'm going to go with both of you. We're going to go with Christian Sullivan and Pam Geard. Hello, you two. So Christian Sullivan and Pam Geard, you guys are going to have some chocolate winging its way to you guys for answering that question first. The answer is you. You are what people are buying. Not new skin, not the product, not the devices. They are amazing and they will buy them, but they buy them because people buy from those they like, know, and trust. Now, in order for me to share with you guys a little bit more about the posting strategies that are working right now, I also need to talk to you about another very important elephant in the room. Tell me, scale of 1 to 10, 10 being I know everything there is to know, and a 1 being I have absolutely no idea what word you just threw at me. How comfortable do you feel with the algorithm? How do you feel you fare knowledge-wise around what this is and how it works? 10 being I know exactly how it works, I know everything there is to know about it. 1 being this is the first time I've ever heard the word algorithm used. Give me a number in the chat right now. I want to share with you guys a little bit about how this works. Don't worry, if you don't know what it is, I'm gonna explain this to you guys. We've got quite a big mix in here. All right, we've got some 1s, we've even got some 8s in here. I've got to say, if I say it, someone will say it. I'm glad no one's written 10 yet. I had someone give me a 10 last week, and I was thinking to myself, I don't even think someone working for Facebook would write 10 down for that one, because this is actually not human maintained. Let me explain this. In 2009, and you might remember the time, it was when Facebook only had personal profiles. It didn't have business pages or groups yet. But in 2009, Facebook recognized it was becoming a very busy place. And what was happening was businesses had cottoned onto the fact that they had a captive audience on these platforms. And so they began actively using profiles to promote their products, services, and business opportunities. And what happened was people began leaving the platform literally in droves. Their membership was dropping significantly overnight. And it was also at the time when all of your feed was in chronological order. So you saw things in the order that they were posted, and it was just spam, spam, spam. So Facebook decided if it was going to keep the platform going and not become another MySpace, if you remember that, it was going to have to adapt and become smarter. And so it implemented a program called the algorithm, a program that operates in the background of Facebook. And its job is to learn everything that there is to learn about each and every one of us. It learns what we do for a living, who we're friends with, what sort of conversations we have with those friends, what we're interested in, what websites we go to, what we look at, what sort of words we use, our family life, how many kids we've got, how old they are, what car we drive, and even our household income. It uses all of this information to deliver you specifically content it knows you want to see, with the intention of keeping you on the platform for longer and more frequently. Now, keep in mind, if your Facebook feed is customized to you like a fingerprint, so is that of your dream customer. And every post you put out there is getting filtered by this program that's deciding exactly who to show it to. So if we want to be more successful on the platform, we need to know exactly who we're talking to. Because guess what? The platform knows exactly who we're talking to. And what most people don't do, and we're here to show you guys how to do, is use the algorithm, of course, to your advantage. Now, another little statistic I want you to know is this. There was a shift about 18 months ago where Mark Zuckerberg, who owns Meta, Facebook and Instagram, stood up and said, we want to start rewarding people for creating good quality content on the platform, and we want to change the way people are delivered their content. He said, up until this point, everyone receives content from a connected source. So this meant that 2 years ago, any post you saw came from one of the following. It was either a friend or family member that you connected with on your personal profile, someone who you followed, like a business page you followed, a group you were a member of, or an advert that was targeting you specifically based on your demographic. Now, Mark said, we're going to change this. We're no longer going to only deliver content based on connected. We're now going to deliver content based on what we know about people. And so now 26% of all content you see comes from unconnected sources. This means brand new people you've never seen, pages you've never looked at, even groups you've never joined. How many of you have been wondering for a while, why am I seeing so much content coming from people lately that I've never seen? It's because of this new delivery process. And there's both a positive and a negative to this. A lot of people are assuming this is bad, but I want you to see this as an amazing opportunity, because now you have an opportunity to reach over 26% of people you've never been connected to before without paying a cent, just by creating content that people want to see. So I want to encourage you to make the most of these new unconnected potential reach sources. And the only thing you have to do is learn what is your formula, what sort of content does your dream customer want to see, and how do you deliver that content to them. No technical experience necessary. How do you just be more human and more relatable? And you guys already know how to do that. So I want to encourage you with this. There's one formula but many recipes, kind of like making a cake. If I was making a cake, there are thousands and thousands of cake recipes out there, but there's a formula that I need to know in order to make any cake work. First, I need a binding component. I need a flour, a body component. I need a sweetening component and a flavoring component. Now, if I miss one of those components out, my cake's probably not going to work very well. But for each of those components, there are a number of different ingredients that I could choose to use that would all work beautifully. I also need to consider the method that I use. Keeping in mind, I'm not going to create a bomb Alaska if it's the first cake I'm making and I've never made a cake before. I'm probably going to start with something a little bit more within my skill set, like a sponge cake. So for example, if you've never used Facebook or you're not overly experienced with video, maybe doing Reels is not the place to start just because everyone's telling you to do Reels. start with the basics. You need to consider what your skill level is and start there, and then we can work up. The next thing is you've got to consider who the audience you're going to give that cake to. If my audience is gluten intolerant, I'm not going to make them a cake with plain flour in it. If my audience hates chocolate, I'm not going to give them a chocolate cake. I need to consider who I'm dishing my cake up to. And then last but not least, I need to be willing to adjust. If I make a recipe for somebody and I'm making the recipe from scratch, I'm not going to get it right the first time. I need to be willing to adjust, to have my audience tell me what they think of the cake I just gave them and then adjust it. Also keep this in mind. The content you use, which is the ingredients in your recipe, some of it may not go so well, but it doesn't mean to get rid of that strategy completely. I'm going to use Facebook Lives as an example here for a little moment, because a lot of people do one live and it doesn't go perfectly. No live ever does the first time you do it. It's always going to feel uncomfortable and weird and probably flop. Maybe not all the time, but a lot of the time. When you do a live for the first time and that's the result, I want you to consider how to adjust it and improve it. Don't throw it out. It's a little bit like with a cake. If you put a sweetening component in and you give your cake to your dream customer and your dream customer says, oh my gosh, that was way too sweet, you're not going to get rid of the sugar component altogether. You're just going to change the amount you use and maybe the type of sweetening component you use. And that's a little bit like that with your posting strategies. Adjust and adapt them, okay? So what we would like to do is help you come up with your own posting strategy, your own recipe. So I want to share with you just right now, just before I give you guys a really cool opportunity, is 5 posting strategies that the platforms are prioritizing right now. So Facebook every quarter release statistics sharing what is working on their platform right now. Now, it's interesting to me how few people ever see this information, but I want to share with you. I went through this, I go through this every quarter, and I pulled apart these statistics, and I noticed that there were some patterns in the posts that they were reporting were getting the best performance. And I want to quickly share with you guys what the patterns were. There were 5 that stood out to me, and all of the posts that we saw, all of the posts they reported on fit within one of these strategies. The first one was this: nostalgia. Now, this was interesting because I think we've moved into a time where people feel so disconnected. But if you've ever done any sales or cold calling or been trained in any sales role anywhere, they would tell you one of the most important strategies in being a good salesperson is creating and establishing commonality quickly. Because commonality builds trust in the subconscious mind fast. When someone feels like we have something in common, they're more likely to trust you very, very quickly. And on social media, doing nostalgic posts does that because it almost creates this us versus them mentality. Nostalgia can look like a number of different things, from remember the time when, to who knows what this is, to how we used to versus how we do now, to even comparing the generations. Nostalgia has become a very powerful, very viral type of post. The next one is this: little known facts and did you knows, because they create curiosity and intrigue. And we've seen lots of really, really amazing examples of this one. The next one is this: humor-based and meme-based, which is entertainment. Remembering, and this is the thing I think a lot of people forget, the platform is a form of entertainment. At the end of the day, that is why people are there. And so we also need to be entertaining, and we need to mix that into our recipe. It's kind of like, the flavoring component. It needs to be in there. If we're not entertaining, people don't want to come back and watch us again and again. It doesn't mean you need to be really great at doing funny videos. It just means you need to know what your audience cares about. Now, entertainment is also not necessarily all about humor. It's just simply about connecting on a level that your dream customer gets you and you get them. The next one is this. This is one of the biggest ones that I want to draw your attention to, and that is the story. Because just 12 months ago, Facebook was saying less text. They were saying long form is not a good strategy, and that has completely flipped on its head. The reason it's flipped on its head is because of this: AI, artificial intelligence, and the question everyone's asking, which is, what is real. And so because of this, the long form story has made a massive comeback. Because when you share story, when you share your journey, when you share what you do, when you share your experience, it suddenly becomes human, real, relatable. It's also unique content because you're the only one that has it. And yet so many of us don't feel comfortable sharing our stories. And so it's a strategy I want to talk you through and I want to teach you how to do really well, because you have got thousands of them up your sleeve. Micro stories are your secret weapon. And I want to share a little bit more about that with you. The last one is this, and that is the how-to. That is the value-driven post. The how-to, the step-by-step, the cheat sheet, and of course, the lead magnet. Yet another very powerful strategy that I want to talk to you guys about. Now, we are just about to be out of time, but if you guys are loving this and you're like, I really, really, really want more help to implement some more of these strategies in my business right now, I want to give you guys an opportunity where we're going to teach you how to create posts like this one that I showed you earlier in the session, where we generated over 180 leads literally in 24 hours. So here's what we've done. As I said to you earlier, we do challenges on a regular basis. This is what we do. This is kind of like our genius zone and what we love, and we have put hundreds of thousands of people through challenges. Our challenges typically are either paid for events or VIP events, but we've put together something extra exciting just for the Nu Skin family, and that is we are going to be running a 3-day content challenge. This is going to be coming up on the 22nd of this month, so I think that's week after next. We're going to be running a brand spanking new 3-day content challenge. This is where we're going to be teaching you 3 of those strategies I just walked through, and not just teaching you, you're going to implement them each day. So we're going to show you, number 1, how to craft the ultimate engagement post. Then we're going to show you how to do story selling. We're going to show you how to craft a story, how to attract people by using your stories in a compliant way. And last but not least, we're going to show you the art of the 2-step lead generation post, which is going to help you generate qualified leads for your business every single day. Now, this normally has a fee associated with it, but we're going to invite all of you for free to come and join us as our VIPs to be a part of this challenge. So if you would like to come in and learn these 3 strategies with us, we're going to give you a link, guys. What I would like you to do, just in case we have any issues getting you guys in, is I want you to type challenge in the chat if you would love to be a VIP with us. And we will organise to either get that to you privately, or we'll give you the link in the chat here now if we can get that up. And we would absolutely love for you to join us as our VIPs to be a part of this challenge. Now, as VIPs, you'll also receive the recordings. In addition to that, we've got a download package we're going to send you as well with a whole lot of cheat sheets, templates, etc. That is for our VIPs only. So you guys are going to get that completely for free. This is worth over $99 to people who are paying for that privilege to be a part of that. So we're going to give that to you guys today, just to say thank you for joining me and being a part of this session with us. We really appreciate you guys choosing to do some learning with us. So we're going to get you guys that link. I can see it in here now. So if you grab that link, it's up the top of the chat, highlighted in yellow. It says join our new 3-day content challenge. So if you grab that link, we will also email that out in case you happen to be watching the replay of this. But guys, we are super excited to help you a little bit further, of course. Just a little reminder, we do have as well a free podcast that you are more than welcome to subscribe to and check out. And when you do join the 3-day challenge, we also have a free Facebook community group that we're going to invite you into, which is where a lot of the challenge is going to happen. A lot of the fun will happen. So we'd love to invite you on in there as well. But our aim and our mission is to help you guys eliminate overwhelm, maximize your productivity, earn more, stress less, and most importantly, we want you guys to have fun in your business, and that's what we're here to help you do. So thank you so much for joining me today. If you do have any questions, please throw them in the chat. I would absolutely love to stick around and answer those questions for you guys. So I'm going to come across to there right now. I can see we've got Kira in here as well. Great to have you in here, Kira. So if there's anything specific you guys want help with, throw it in the chat. I can see a question from which says, what if we still don't want to show our faces on social media? Is it still doable? Yes, look, it's a really difficult one because I really believe, as I said earlier, people are buying from you because they connect with you. They want to know who you are. And in a world where people feel so disconnected and, there's we've got an abundance of choice, don't we, for every product we want to buy. But people buy from those people that they know they can connect with and relate to. So it's a bit of a double-edged sword because on one hand, it's hard to do without showing your face, but on the other hand, there are ways of doing it. You can show human element and tell your story without showing your face. There's lots of ways of doing that. And again, we can share a little bit more of that in these strategies we're going to teach you as well. Story selling can be done very powerfully without them seeing your face. But I will just say a big but here. One of the things I love to talk about is the psychology of selling. The subconscious brain will actually relate and trust faster when it can see eyes and teeth. It's a really funny one. When you can see eyes and teeth, you naturally are programmed to build trust faster. So I'm just going to throw it out there. I would ask the question why you don't want to show your face, and it's up to you don't need to answer that, but I would just really encourage you, you are the secret weapon in your business. You are what people want. So it is up to you. You can do it without it, but you'll be much more successful if you do it with your face in it. Okay, let's see. Thank you, Maria. Okay, question. Some employers check on Facebook. I do this business part-time. Would having a separate account be better for those who do not want their employers to see what they do as a side hustle? I'm a remote worker, so my employer doesn't want to see posts during my work hours. Okay, really great question. I guess the thing is, what we're not aiming at doing is, we want you to help you sell without selling. So a lot of the content that we're going to teach you to do is not going to be directly sales-orientated content. It's going to be content that has those tigers coming into the clearing going, I want to know a little bit more, tell me about that. I'm going to give you guys an example, okay? I was doing a training probably about 2 years ago now with a company that sells makeup products. So sort of similar, it's still in the beauty space, but totally different product. And this particular company they were having a lot of the same problem. They were like, I just feel like I need to just be telling people what the product is, what the ingredients are, and how to buy it. They were selling and broadcasting. It wasn't working for them. And so I gave them some examples of the importance of knowing what people want and then almost giving it to them, but also sharing their journey. And they didn't quite get it. So I wanted to show them an example from me. And here's what I did. I spoke at their conference. It was an online conference. So I was doing a webinar like this. And they sent me some of their lip color to wear when I was presenting. And so this lip color, the color itself is supposed to stay on for 12 hours, okay? So they sent it to me in the morning. And I'm trying to explain this process to them. And here's what happened. I put it on. It was bright red. And I did the presentation. And later on that day, I'm talking, this was 9 a.m., so at 6 o'clock that day, and Greg just jumped in and joined us. 6 o'clock that day, I went for a run. I get in the car, look in the rearview mirror, and I go for a run. And I realize my bright red lip color is untouched. On, it doesn't budge. And I thought, here is a great opportunity to give them an example of how this works. I took a selfie and I put a post up and I said, oh my goodness, I cannot believe I applied this at 9 a.m. this morning and it still looks freshly applied. I'm going to look a little bit silly going on my run now, but hey, at least I'll look good doing it. And I left it at that. Went for my run, 30 minutes later, get back in the car. Has gone viral. I've had over 30 comments on the post asking me, oh my goodness, what is this stuff? Where do I buy it from? Now, I'm not endorsing the product. I didn't sell the product. I was using it as an example. The less information I gave, the more response I got because people suddenly wanted to know, what is that? How does it work? So just something to keep in mind, guys. Sometimes less is more, and it's actually going to have a far greater result for you in your business. Now, I can see my family have jumped in and joined us here. We've got baby, kids, and husband, Greg. Hey, Greg.
Hi, Sam. Sorry, I forgot that I was on camera there for a moment while Levi came to help. Did you see Bernie's question about links?
I did not know.
Okay. So we often get this question, which is a question of, all right, I have a link to my online store. The whole point of my social media posts are to get people to buy stuff. And you're telling me, Sam, that I can't put my link up.
Okay, so
We're not actually saying you
No.
can't. What we're saying is, unfortunately, if you do, it just won't work.
Look, there are ways of doing it. You can share your link. You can put it in a post. You can do that every now and again, but just know that you're not going to get the reach that you might have got once upon a time. Facebook is showing, like, if you do that, you will reach 0.3% of the people you might have reached once upon a time. 0.3% of the people that follow you. So some of the ways of doing it is, number one, you can put the link in the comments, not necessarily with the post, you can put it in the comments. That way the post will still go, and you just let people, and we do this a lot. So we might have our latest podcast episode, and we will tell people, if you want to check out the link in the comments, and they can go there. The other way of doing it is to get people to tell you if they want the link, and then you send it to them privately.
And that's actually a really powerful one, Sam, because the minute that you've got that private connection between people, it's far more powerful. And the thing is, you don't just want to give people the link for a one-off sale. When you attract your target customer, when you attract your dream customer, you want to stay in touch with them and do business with them again and again. And not only that, your dream customers, the people who are your favorite customers, are usually the best place to recruit from. So you want to build that relationship over time. So the one-off drop and sell is great. Like, a sale is a great thing, but we actually want that ongoing relationship, and that is the beauty of this industry. Taryn asks a question that I think leads on from that, which is a personal branding question.
Yeah.
So on Instagram, should my brand be me and my hobbies? Or is my brand my business opportunity that I share? And interestingly enough, although she's asked for it in terms of Instagram, personal branding is actually a thing on every platform. It doesn't matter whether we're talking LinkedIn, it doesn't matter whether we're talking Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, whatever methods we are using to interact with people, our brand really matters.
Yeah. So one of the things that you absolutely want to really hone in on is, what is your personal brand? Who are you, and how do people relate to you? Because like I said earlier, people are buying from you. They're buying you, they're not buying the product. And so you want to know how you show up. One of the things we talk about a lot, and I think, Greg, we will probably cover this a little bit in the challenge, is, what do you want people to feel when they come in contact with you? And you've got to be intentional on social media. So how do you want to leave people feeling? Because they're not going to remember what you said, but they will remember how you made them feel. And every post you put up on social media is an opportunity for people to experience a little of your personality. So when you're intentional about that, it totally changes the way that people see you and the way they do business with you and the way they interact with you. So very important.
Can I give an explanation of that, Sam? So we are social media coaches, and we help people do social media. Now, if I gave you that as my spiel about what we do for a living, I'd leave you guys really confused. But if I go in a bit deeper and tell you about our target customer, which is a person in the MLM, direct selling, party plan, network marketing industry, someone in that industry who wants to know how to do social media, who wants to not reinvent the wheel, but actually be shown the strategies that have proven to work, who can sometimes feel a bit overwhelmed, but will not give up, is dedicated to their business, loves the product, loves the business opportunity, and is really keen to make it work and wants to know an easier way, then we're the people for you. So what I'm explaining there as an example, we've just talked a little bit about our target customer and about the challenges and needs of our target customer. Now, when I know that, then I can do social media posts that actually attract that person, the person who has those needs. And because I know that, I can develop our skills. We develop our skills in that space to really, really serve that person. We're really focused on it. Now, if I just said to you, oh, well, we do online stuff, you know, that's not very easy to know. Okay, well, what do we do with that? How do we make posts about online stuff? It's very all over the place. So what I love about Taryn's question is about personal brand. Now, the first and most important thing is to understand that personal brand matters. And what I love about it, Taryn, is that you seem to have recognized that actually it's not about peddling the product. or new skin. It's about what you bring to the table. Yes, new skin and the product is definitely a big part of that, but they need you. You are part of the equation. So understanding how that fits together, oh my gosh, that is just so important.
Now, a couple of things just really quickly, Greg. I just want to let everyone know I'm going to do another little prize draw in a sec. I've got another little question for all of you. But just before I do, we also are going to be doing a little bonus workshop this Friday for everyone who registers for the 3-day challenge on some AI strategies to simplify your social media plan. So I'm going to show you I'm going to show you how AI should be correctly used. And then I'm going to give you guys a couple of really fun prompts that are going to totally blow your mind. I'm going to do that on Friday, and we're going to catch up with you guys. And we've got a couple of little other exciting things that we're going to do with you as well. So make sure you join me for that. That'll be a Zoom, so it'll be a little bit more personal. And I think we can only take the first 100 people in that too, by the way. So make sure that when you register for the 3-day that you jump in and join me for that Zoom. Also, I've had a couple of people ask, what's the podcast called? I mentioned we had one and then I didn't tell you the name. That was very secretive of me, wasn't it? It's called the Direct Selling Accelerator Podcast. And we have had the amazing John Hobby. He has done an interview with us, so that'll be coming up very, very soon. But the podcast can be found on YouTube. It can be found on all the podcast channels, or you can just follow our Facebook and you'll see it there as well. And I've had a couple of people as well asking, because we've of course got some new skin people who are members inside of our community, our paid membership community. If you're a paid member of our Academy membership, you will also get VIP access to this training. So this is anyone who's a member with us in our signature program gets free VIP access always to any challenge we do. And another one that's coming up too, just to keep your eyes peeled for, we do this one every year. It's one of our favorite challenges of the year, is the 12 days of Christmas content challenge. So again, our members will get access to that one, but that'll be coming up in November. So if you join our free Facebook group, you will be kept up to date with that as well. But Greg, I think that's probably it. Just reminding everyone to please make sure that you have registered for the 3-day challenge. We look forward to seeing you guys there. And yeah, it's been an absolute honor hanging out with you guys today. So thank you so much for trusting us with your time. Here's the last question I've got for you. In order to go in the running for the last prize, I want to know this. What's the one thing you're going to take action on in the next 24 hours off the back of this training? So what's the one thing for you that resonated the most where you were like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to implement this. The reason I asked this question, I want you to tell me in the chat, is when we do a training, we're giving you a lot of knowledge. And knowledge is awesome, but knowledge is not power. It's only potential power. It's the things that you do with that knowledge that get you the growth and that are powerful for you. And so I want you to implement something that's actually going to help you get the growth and get you the change that you want to see. If just having a notebook full of notes is not going to do that. Okay, so...
And is this a competition to move a mountain, to do the biggest possible thing they've heard from you today, or is it a tiny, tiny, teensy little thing?
We talk a lot about the 2mm shift, okay? 2mm shift is critically important. In other words, if you're a golfer, anyone who's a golfer knows this, if you're a golfer and you tee off, if you move your stance or your grip by just 2mm when you tee off, is it still only going to move the ball by 2mm at the end where it lands? No, it's a trajectory. That ball is going to move by meters, if not kilometers or miles at the other end where it lands. But a 2mm shift now will move things by mountains later on in the year. So today it might be something as simple as I can see some people saying little things like, I'm just going to share a story. I love that. Rob says, I'm going to subscribe to your YouTube. That's a 2mm shift, providing you do something with it. Don't just subscribe and then never watch it. Going live. What else have we got here?
So attract my audience. Yeah, so the really important thing is we're looking for something specific. So if you're going to attract your audience, then we need to learning about that. Something specific that you'll actually do in the next 24 hours. So with Dai that said daily posting, then the most important thing is that you do a daily post in the next 24 hours. And if you want to get extra bonus points, actually schedule some posts so that your daily posts for the
Yeah.
rest of the week are taken care of. Because the most important thing is not that we do the biggest thing, and it doesn't matter if we do the littlest thing. The most important thing is that we do something. And we want to lock that in, and we want the little dopamine hit, that smile on our face that comes when we go, hey, we've actually done what we said we would do. So don't set yourself a task that is too big and unrealistic for the time you have available or the energy. Make yourself a little win. And then tomorrow, you might be able to go a couple of millimeters further. And that is fantastic.
I love that. Sandy's actually a golf biomechanic. She said even the breathing pattern makes a difference. So there you go. Thank you, everybody, so much. I'm going to pull a winner really quickly out of these responses. I'm being very, very random here. We're going to go with... Okay. Oh, my gosh. I don't know that I can say this name. I'm going to try. It's Dieu Can Tu. Dieu Can Tu. D-I-E-U. Congratulations. We're going to get a little prize out to you. And the response was daily posting. So I love that. That's actually a really important one, is showing up. Remember what we said? Don't leave the clearing. Don't leave that clearing no matter what. So thank you everyone so much for joining me today. It's been so great chatting with you all, and I look forward to seeing you all in the 3-day challenge.
Perfect. All right. Thanks, everybody, and bye for now.
See you, everyone.